Welcome everybody to this ordinance meeting held on Wednesday, June 16th at 5 o'clock. I was told to make sure everybody goes easy tonight on this ordinance meeting because I have Lauren, our clerk, for the first time doing this meeting tonight with us. I want to welcome Lauren and thank her very much. Thank you, Tina. And with that being said, before we call the roll, I'm going to ask for the solicitor's opinion on this meeting being held virtually, please. You're muted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
The governor has extended the executive order allowing recorded and video and audio meetings to take place legally under the Open Meetings Act. So this meeting has been legally convened and properly noticed as a Zoom platform meeting.
Thank you, Solicitor Dinnerman.
Cool.
Hey, with that being said, I'm going to ask the clerk call the roll, please.
Okay. Chairman Arducci?
Here.
Councilwoman Harris?
Present.
Councilor Miller?
Councilwoman Miller, are you muted?
Present.
There you go. Thank you.
Councilman Espinal?
Present.
4 present, 1 absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I also want to recognize Councilwoman Anthony, Councilwoman LaFortune, and Councilman Salvatore. Yeah, and I think I got everybody. I'm going to ask at this time, Councilwoman Anthony, you got a question?
I'm so sorry, but when I went online today on the public portal, there was no agenda package. So we weren't able to, the public isn't able to bring up the ordinances that you're referring to today. And I just wanted to ask why that was.
Hang on 1 second.
Okay, thank you.
1 moment, please.
Yep. We're going to take a moment.
Thank you.
So, Councilwoman Anthony, because they're all ordinances, I'm not sure why the packet didn't produce, but they can still view the packet if they click on the meeting date. The ordinance printouts do show up there.
Thank you.
I looked at it today, and when you open the agenda package, it just came up as the agenda, but each individual ordinance and all of the letters that support individually could be accessed underneath on the website.
Thank you.
Thank you. All set, Councilman? I'm going to ask that, the committee at this time if I can get a motion to take item number 5 out of order, please.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion made by Deputy Majority Leader Mary Kay Harris, seconded by Pro Temp Espinal. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. We have with us the petitioner, the attorney for the petitioners, Mr. Conley, and what they're asking is that we continue this matter for now.
And waive the reading.
And waive the reading and continue the matter. So can I have a motion to continue item number 5?
A motion to continue item number 5, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion made by Deputy Majority Leader Harris, seconded by Councilwoman Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We're going to go to item number 1. Thank you, Bill. Item number 1, can I have a motion There is a amendment version.
Read it into the record or waive the?
Yeah, can I have number 1 read into the record, please, Madam Clerk?
An ordinance amending chapter 23, street sidewalks in public places of the Providence Code of Ordinance to add Article 7, green and complete streets.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We do have a substitution. I'd like to have a motion to make this item item A,
So moved.
substitution A for item number 1.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Miller, seconded by Councilwoman Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Oops, almost broke my thing. We have Councilman Salvatore. Would you like to speak on the amended version?
Thank you,
We do not
Chairman.
have Bobby. Oops. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Okay, thank you, Chairman and members of the committee. I appreciate you taking up the Green and Complete Streets ordinance again. After our last public hearing, Sean Bouchard, our policy director, and I consulted with Lisa Dinnerman, the city solicitor who covers the ordinance committee, and she pointed out some technical changes that we should make, and we've incorporated them, and Sean can go through a lot of the changes that were made. There's also a State House bill that is making its way through the legislative process, and we took some of the language around vulnerable road users from that bill and incorporated it in this particular ordinance as well, just for a matter of consistency. And we thought that it would make sense to include that definition throughout the ordinance as well. But Chairman, Sean can further elaborate on some of the changes that have been made.
Before we do that though, Councilman, can I have a motion to accept the letters of, that were received today? There was 4 more letters received in favor of it. Can I have that as item number B, please?
So moved.
Second, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, do we have those letters at our, do we have the letters, or are they gonna be sent later to us?
They have the letters in their packet.
You should have the letters in your packet.
Okay. For some reason I can't find.
There's only one that's opposed, the others are all in favor.
Okay.
So, motion was made by Councilwoman Miller to accept as, Exhibit B, and seconded by Councilwoman Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Sean Bouchard?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So yeah, just briefly, the councilman's right. Solicitor gentleman was kind enough to kind of walk us through a couple technical changes that the solicitor's office was recommending. Nothing that impacts intent or overall purpose of the ordinance, but mainly stylistic and technical changes for the purpose of making sure that there's clear procedural steps taken and guidance as to the role of the advisory council, what it does do, what it doesn't do, who else might be worked with outside of the advisory council for purposes of effectuating this ordinance. There were also a couple other changes that were incorporated based on comment from the public hearing relative to street trees and green space. And the final item that I would just flag would be the Director of Sustainability and the City Forester have also been added as ex officio members to the Advisory Council, so that way there's greater expertise in those areas when reviewing plans and designs of city streets and changes to the right-of-way. That's what I have for now. If there are any questions the committee may have, please let me know.
Do we have, committee members, any questions for Sean? Council members that are in attendance, do you guys and girls have any questions for Sean?
For me,
You're muted, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Harris, you,
Thank you for allowing me to have the floor. There's no questions other than what was the changes, and the changes were just text. So we thoroughly went through this the last time when we was vetting this earlier. So I have no questions whatsoever, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Deputy Majority Leader. So with that being said, can I have a motion to approve item number 1 and pass on to the full council for passage?
As amended.
As amended.
Motion to approve item 1 is amended.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Miller, seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, then. Item number 2, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance amending chapter 10, food and food products, article 1 in general, of the Providence Code of Ordinance to add a section 11, third-party delivery services.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept the substitution as document C, please?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Motion
Second.
made by Deputy Majority Leader Harris, seconded by Councilwoman Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We have an amended version, a substitution for item number 2. We have with us Councilwoman LaFortune. Would you like to speak on this amended version?
Certainly. So again, it's very similar to Councilman Salvatore. There were some just some minor technical issues with the ordinance, and so we worked with I worked with Sean as well as our sorry, it is the end of the day. My brain is not functioning fast enough. I feel like my brain can't keep up with my mouth. So basically, we worked with the city solicitor's office to make those corrections, and we do appreciate her and how detail oriented she was. So that was wonderful. And so we were able to make those amendments, those very things that we talked about. But as of now, I think it's ready to go. We've been talking about it for quite some time, and basically, this is a great ordinance that will provide that will protect our restaurants basically from third-party delivery services. Because even with the economy opening up, a lot of our restaurants just don't have the staff right now. Many of them have to start transitioning to opening up to more days. And so this is a great opportunity to protect them as they use the third-party delivery services, but that they're not advertising information without the restaurant's permission, or they're not doing anything basically without the restaurant's permission from the restaurant or written agreement from the restaurant. So hopefully we can get it out of committee tonight and we can send it to full council for passage. And Sean, I don't know if you want to add.
Sean Bouchard.
Yeah, I would just flag for the committee that, we've heard, I think, fairly extensive testimony on this item. The Solicitor General, again, had a couple very helpful insights regarding this ordinance. The councilman and I met with her to make sure that this fully conforms to the concerns raised by the solicitor's office. I believe that it does. Again, I want to extend a thank you to the solicitor's office for their diligent review of this item. But at this point, there's nothing further that I feel I need to add. I'll defer to Lisa Dinnerman if she feels like there's anything else. But from our perspective, I believe we have thoroughly vetted this item.
And I see Lisa shaking her head no, so I'm assuming there's nothing else to be added from the solicitor. With that being said, is there any questions from the committee to Sean? Any questions from the city council people in attendance? Okay, hearing none, then I'd like to get a motion to approve item number 2. Hang on. Councilwoman Miller, I'm sorry, did you have your hand up?
No, I just wanted to thank Councilwoman LaFortune and Sean for their work on this. I know it's been a long time coming, and I know it's super important for restaurants in my neighborhood and everywhere else. So I just wanted to thank everyone for getting here.
Thank you, Councilwoman Miller. So with that being said, can I get a motion to approve item number 2 and send to council for full passage as amended?
So
So
moved.
move.
Motion made by Councilman Miller, seconded by President
Sec-
Pro Tem Espinal. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 3, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance amending chapter 5, building and structural appurtenance, Article 1 in general of the Providence Code of Ordinance to add section 5-8, notice of demolition permit issuance.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Can I have a motion first to accept the substitution for item number 3 as item D, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Deputy Majority Leader Harris, seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Sean Bouchard, would you like to speak on item number 3, please, as amended?
Certainly. I guess just as a brief background on this item, the committee may remember that when this was first heard by the committee, Director Joe Atchu was here from Department of Inspections and Standards and indicated that there was work being done by the department already regarding kind of notice efforts that they have to better notify the public regarding potential demolitions in the neighborhoods. And so having met with him over the past several weeks, we've come to an understanding of revision to this ordinance to kind of achieve the ends and the intent that the councilman had brought forward to make sure that the public does receive the adequate notice before buildings are demolished in the neighborhood. So what we've come up with is a notice requirement, not only by the department, but that applicants who receive a demolition permit have to have posted at the property a notice that the building will be demolished. There is a time frame built in, so that way members of the public passing by would see that there is a demo that is scheduled. They'll know when it's going to occur, and then from that point, upon the expiration of that time period, then the demo will occur. There is an exception for this in instances of public health and safety. If the director of inspection standards deems that there's a health risk by the property, for instance, after a fire or something like that, that the building is at risk of coming down on its own, that can be waived, but it would be by an explicit decision by the director. Otherwise, notices are going to be posted. So with that said, I'm happy to answer any questions. But again, this is another one that I will give credit to Councilman Goncalves. He has worked diligently with Department of Inspection and Standards to come up with an ordinance that is workable, not just for the public, but is something that the department is willing to commit to as well. So we should see quite a bit of follow through on this one.
Mr. Chair, we can't hear you if you're speaking.
Yeah. Are we frozen?
I'm sorry. No, I was. All right. Any questions for Sean from the committee members? Deputy Majority Leader Harris.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I think Sean said that the only exception is when there's a fire and you have to just take it down right away. We didn't have to put this into the ordinance. The ordinance is okay the way it is. Maybe the solicitor could answer that. You said that there is an exception. Did you say that? There's an exception when there's a fire. That's a different story, right?
So that's correct. So if you look at in the substitution, paragraph C, the building official has the authority to exempt an applicant from the notice requirements that are imposed under section B upon a finding that the structure poses a threat to public health and safety.
Okay.
So that's an exception built right into the ordinance itself.
Okay.
To make it clear that there is a carve out for those risky properties that have to come down immediately.
Okay, that was it. Thank you for clarification. Thank you.
I may be able to assist, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Solicitor Zimmerman.
Yes, there are instances in which buildings have to be demolished on an emergency basis for health, safety, and welfare reasons. It might be because of a fire. It might be because it's so structurally unsound that it's about to collapse. So that's the intention of that. Basically, the building comes down within a day or two. So, and there's a specific process for that. So obviously there wouldn't be any notice that could be given a week beforehand. The other thing that we did, the department and I spoke about before amending this is that there are different levels of demolition. You can demolish a part of a building without demolishing the whole part, the whole building. So someone might demolish, say, a sunroom on their house, and they're going to put a deck there instead. So that would have to be noticed. It's only when a whole structure's coming down.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Solicitor. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions from committee members? Any questions from my council colleagues? No? Okay, hearing none, then can I get a motion to approve item number 3 and pass on to council for full passage? As amended.
Motion to approve item 3 is amended, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Miller, seconded by President Pro Tem Espinal. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And item number 4, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 24, Juvenile Hearing Board of the Providence Code of Ordinance.
Okay. Again, could I have a motion to accept the substitution for number 4 as E, please? As Exhibit E?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilwoman Miller, seconded by Pro Tem Espinal. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. I'm going to ask that Sean, would you like to speak on item number 4, Sean?
Certainly, I'd be happy to. I think I should start by just letting the committee know this ordinance has been in the works for quite some time, and there's been a lot of help that's been provided to get us to where we are. This has been a joint effort, not just by the council. We've had our outside partners from DCYF, RICJ, the police department, the solicitor's office. This has been a real team effort to kind of rewrite the entirety of the Juvenile Hearing Board ordinance. In the past, if you looked at the ordinance, it was pretty generic and did not really give you a great idea of everything that goes into running a juvenile hearing board successfully. And that poses a challenge for any board member who is appointed. If you're new to a board, you go to the ordinance to see what you're required to do. And unfortunately, the ordinance was pretty silent on a lot of areas. So what we've done, we've worked with, again, our outside partners as well as, a number of other personnel to try and create an ordinance that reflects the vision and intent of a juvenile hearing board that works, that is successful, that gives clear guidance to any future board members and juvenile hearing board coordinators so they know what their roles and responsibilities are. And it is also based off of lessons learned, not just from our board, but juvenile hearing boards throughout the state, to really make this a successful process and one that can continue to improve as we move forward. I'm happy to answer specific questions related to all of the changes here, but I think before I do so, we do have Kyla Walters-Clinton from DCYF, who has been instrumental in getting us to where we are. She's provided a ton of great insight, has been one of the main partners that we've worked with to get here, and I would just like to take the opportunity to turn it over to Kyla and allow her to speak a little bit about all the work that we've done to this point.
I would like to have that go through the chair first. And what I would like to say, Sean, at this time to my colleagues too, and to introduce Ms. Clinton is a pleasure from DCYF, but I think this is very important now more so than ever in the past between the pandemic and everything that everybody's been going through, and just showing that we really need to support the youth of the city of Providence and actually the state of Rhode Island moving forward. You know, I see it in my neighborhood. Some of these kids are good kids, just, you know, getting involved with the wrong people sometimes, or being, how do you say, the wrong spot at the wrong time. That with a little assistance and, you know, could end up going on the right track and becoming what we need them to be in our city and in our state. So with that being said, if it's all right with Director Bouchard, I want to welcome Kayla Clinton. Kayla?
Good afternoon. Thank you all for having me. Sean, you said this so eloquently. This is it's been a part of my work at DCYF, but it's also been a part of my research at Johnson & Wales for my doctoral studies. So this is a piece of work that is really close to my heart, and I'm so glad to see that we have all of our partners and stakeholders joining us in this work, because that's part of the process, and it's also essential to keep this conversation, this dialogue going. It's going to be so important to be able to learn, like Sean said, from all of the other cities and towns that are running juvenile hearing boards, and really be able to dive deep into this work, because it's not just principles and practices that we want to focus on, but we really want to focus on the philosophy of restorative justice, on reducing harm. That philosophy is going to take us from here to the next step. And as long as we're continuing to talk together and work together, and really evaluate who we're helping, who is being harmed, and are we partners in this work, we're going to do a great job. And so the last thing that I want to say is, in my research, and part of what we did with this ordinance is we wanted to make sure that we included restorative justice language in the ordinance, so that when other researchers are looking at Rhode Island, they see the work that we've done. This is historic work, and I want to make sure that we have it recorded. And so some of the other things that Sean so insightfully made sure that we incorporated was to have someone, have the coordinator be that liaison that reports back to City Council and goes between the juvenile hearing boards to continue to report back on the work, the needs, the changes, evaluate, and be able to continue to reform this work as we see fit. So thank you all for having me. I can answer any questions that you may have.
Kayla, first of all, I want to thank you for what you do at DCYF. My daughter-in-law works for DCYF. I see firsthand what she goes through with the home visits and her clients and stuff, and it's not easy whatever you guys do whatsoever. I'm going to go just a little quick history back, and then I'll open it up to questions. My dad, one of my dad's very first jobs was with the state, was with DCYF when it was over here on Washington Street in the old Journal building on the second floor. You know, and again, even some of the issues back then, you look at some of the issues now that these kids are going through, and they have a lot of resemblance. Different times, but same resemblance. And, you know, again, I could go on all night thanking you guys for what you do with DCYF, but any of my committee members have any questions for Kayla? Councilwoman Harris.
First of all, Caleb, I also want to thank you for the work you do. It's a, you know, I know sometimes it's just overwhelming. Before I became a council person, some of this work I was doing at my organization there, juvenile discipline stuff, you know, being a part of the juvenile, just making sure that they got through the system, because we didn't have what we are creating right now. And I'm so proud of the city. I want to thank all my colleagues, first of all, for, you know, definitely wanting to be a part of something that's really important. Our chairman has said it so well. I do have a question because, as I said, back in the days when I were doing it a long time ago, there were records that were kept some time towards these young people, you know, depending on what it was, right? And some of it wasn't that bad, but a lot of times when they went through the court system, you know, I mean, that also hurt with you have a particular college and you got that background. Within this, I am, you know, I haven't read it completely, but do we have records kept on these kids, or maybe you, Sean, or the solicitor? Is any records being kept on these young people after they go through the process in the juvenile board?
Records are kept on juveniles, and there are two different areas where records are kept. So the juvenile hearing board chair does have a copy of a record with limited information on it, and it does not carry the same weight. It does not stick with the youth who has committed any harm to affect their college transcripts or anything like that. The police also have a record, and it stays within the police department, but it's meant to disappear once they go through this process. But the important thing to note is that it still remains within the police department. So if this youth gets picked up again, the police will know that this is a youth that may have been picked up a second time. That may have implications, and that, you know, in everything that we do, any intervention that we try to put forth will always have interventions. I mean, different, you know, responses that we might not see at the time that we set them, which is why it's so important to make sure that we continue to talk about any and all changes that we make and look at these reforms as we make them, to make sure that we're asking that question, who is really being harmed and who is really being helped? I hope that answers your question.
That's a great way, and I'm looking forward to the future of us being able to do that. But this is a good jump start. Thank you all for all of this work. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And I also would like to commend Councilman Igliozzi for staying on top of this and making sure it got to the point where it's at right now. Sean, did you have your hand up?
I was just going to flag briefly when it comes to these records and everything associated with the juvenile hearing board. That is one thing that we worked with the solicitor's office on. We have confidentiality agreements that are going to be required to be signed by everyone associated with the juvenile hearing board to ensure the confidentiality of all records is kept. That, you know, the records are kept under lock and key, that, you know, things aren't walking out the door, that we do want to provide the highest confidentiality and privacy for all juveniles who do work with this board.
Thank you. I would like to also recognize that Councilman Gonzalez has joined us.
So noted.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Clerk.
Got a promotion.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Sean wants to take my job. You want to take my job?
It's not an easy
Thank
job,
you so
Mr.
much.
Chair.
Right? I'm outnumbered by women. I can't win.
Oh, we all right.
Yeah, you are. Kayla, thank you very much once again for being with us here tonight, and again for everything you guys do. And I am looking forward, as the councilman in Ward 4, to keep our work moving forward with DCYF and with the Juvenile Hearing Board. Thank you once again. Any questions from the committee members? No? Any questions from any of my colleagues? No? Okay, then at this point, hearing none, I'd like to have a motion to approve item number 4, pass it out of committee into the council floor for full passage. As amended.
Motion to approve item 4 is amended.
Motion made by Councilwoman Miller, seconded by Councilman President Pro Tem Espinal. I can't see you anymore. I miss the trees. I wonder where you are, where there's trees in the background. But anyway, motion was made by Councilwoman Miller, seconded by Councilwoman Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. With there being no further business before this honorable committee, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Motion made by Councilwoman Miller, seconded by President, Pres Pro Tem Espinal. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank everybody.
All opposed?
Thank you.
It's a beautiful night. Go take a walk.
That's what we'll
Ayes
do.
have it. Meeting adjourned.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night. Thank you,
Thank you so
everybody.
much,
Thank you.
everyone.